Alrighty, Manticores. Pain in the ass. Okay, that'll cover today's video. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy. No, I'm kidding. You only need one poison gland. You'll get it. They're like stupid common spawns when you have the quest up. I kind of wish they actually did something along the lines of the Chthonic Seals of Binding, maybe. It definitely make it more valuable to come over here because of the Manticore eyes are a pain when you need them, because this is like the only place where you know Manticores are gonna be. It's not like they're a long distance away, but it's still kind of annoying to have to come and fight them exclusively to get their eyes. So, they're also, like, pretty much you know the damage type involved, and that's poison. So if you don't have good poison resistance, you're in trouble fighting Manticores. And Mogara is basically a big Manticore. That hurts a lot. And getting swarmed while you're fighting Mogara is really bad. Just because everything can deal a crap ton of poison damage to you. So it's like... And it's like... Even when like my battle mage almost dies just fighting a couple Manticores next to her, you know it's really... really bad. So I get really lucky and get the north spawn point for Bloodbriar's Lair. When I get around to it and I start doing like, oh, this is the locations of all the things videos and Secrets of Grim Dawn video, Bloodbriar's Lair, the spawn points are going to be one of them. The two places I find it most common are right there, which is just right to the right of, it's just like when you're coming down, it's like just to your character's left, your right is gonna be one of them, and then there's sort of like this big horseshoe set of mountains, set of ridges or whatever it is, just rocks, and I find it a lot on the eastern tip of that like giant horseshoe of rocks. And then the third place I know it spawns is, I think it's a little to the east of that. There's sort of a bigger rock formation that can spawn on like the eastern side of it. I'll have to point out the locations. I don't have them memorized. It's like the spawn locations for the rift in the Blood Grove. I just don't have it memorized. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like one or two places knowing it will be very helpful in finding it. And you know, you'll most likely find it at those one or two places. And if you don't, then it's just a little bit of wandering around. Old Bloodbriar himself is heavily on the bleed damage side of things. Oddly enough. I really actually... Or Bloodbriar. Did I say... What did I say? I didn't say Bloodbriar. I said Bloodfiend or something. Old Bloodbriar. He's a bleed character. Bleed hero. And again, he's sort of your standard just DPS soak. You just wail on him. Now, the thing about the Briarthorns, or did I say old Briarthorn? The thing about the Briarthorns is they kind of lost a little bit of what made them like weirdly unique, because they had this like huge retaliation theme going on where they were like the reflect damage mob, and they kind of lost that. I mean, I thought it was fine to have that type of enemy in the game, but not to the extent they were. Because when it was their sort of gimmick, like, you absolutely needed your resistance. The resistance of whatever your main attacks were, you absolutely needed that to fight them. I remember very distinctly just killing myself repeatedly with my Aether Ray character at that point. It was actually kind of funny. Obnoxious and annoying, but kind of funny. That it's like you run in and you're like, and it's like you're the one that's dying because of it. I'm actually really glad they toned it down, but I kind of wish they still kind of had that theme, just so they'd be a little different from everything else. If I had one criticism, tiny criticism of the monsters in Grim Dawn, it's that a lot of them do kind of just boil down to you stand in front of it and hit it, or you tank away and burn it down, or kite away and burn it down. I mean, I do like that there are a lot of unique damage types though, and that makes dealing with these various things unique in that, oh, if you don't have chaos resistance, for example, the Trogs can be a problem. And Trogs are actually one of those, like, oh, they do kind of unique things. Because the mages throw chaos bolts, which you don't really encounter a lot in the game. And then the warriors, I think it is. And I think the mages do a dot that's like a chaos dot. But there's a weird chaotic poison they have. It's pretty unique. Ungoliax the Gloomweaver is pretty much standard big spider fight. The Grim Dawn, though, probably has the best spiders of any action RPG. Just because they're so fast. They're fast, and, like, a lot of them, when they run, they have, like, the two fangs up. And then, like, when they descend from the ceiling like that, it's actually really creepy and scary. But yeah, Ungoliax the Gloomweaver goes down smooth. And, not a huge problem. I think she confuses or fumbles you or something. Gives you impaired aim or fumbled. Chance to fumble attacks or something like that. So Tyrant's Hold here really makes me want to play Arcanum of Steamworks and Magic Obscura, I think is the subtitle. Just because I love that in that game you can go to a place, clear all the monsters out, and then basically claim whatever that place is as your own. Because in all the areas, nothing respawns. Everything's a one-time spawn. So it means, like, there's a place very early in the game called the Wolf Cave. And it, predictably enough, has a bunch of wolves in it. So you go in there, and you clear the wolves out, and there are a bunch of, like, barrels and boxes and stuff in the cave, because it was, like, I guess, theming-wise, it's some type of smuggler's cave. I think there's even, like, dead bodies in there. But you can take and put your stuff in those barrels, and the game remembers that. Like, you can put, so long as you don't put your things in a trash can, which refresh every day, I think, you can put your stuff in barrels, and it will stay there. So you can essentially just go to this Wolf Cave place and claim it as a base. And that would be Grim Dawn hiccuping during a record. So, and then, like, when you get to Tarant, the big city area, there's a side quest to clear out a warehouse of rats. And once you clear out the warehouse of rats, you can actually use that warehouse as your own personal warehouse. And actually, it's not a bad subquest in terms of getting supplies if you do a lot of the techie combining things, because you'll get a lot of just stuff to make stuff from that place. Might be all therapeutic schematic related. Maybe explosive schematic related, if I recall correctly. It's been a really long time since I played that game. Now, Tyrant's Hold, though, the interior of it here is actually one of my least favorite areas. Because there are just so many grovels, and they're so tightly packed, and because enemies can see through walls, you'll end up just the gunfire noise. I don't mind it in moderation. It, like, the crossbow noise is fine too. It's definitely way better than what it used to be. But any sound effect, regardless of its quality, just gets annoying if you hear it a lot. And man, does it just get on my nerves in this area. Because a lot of times they're just not even going to be able to hit you because they're on the other side of a wall, but they're just going to be shooting anyways. Plus, there's just a ton of them. I don't mind mob density, but man, is there just a ton of guys in this place. So, I mean, it's like the only place in the game, I think, where I actually get annoyed at having to fight a lot of things. Just because there's a lot of things put in here. Might be a tiny bit of overkill, because Blood Feast used to be the quick, easy thing to hunt. And the way they solved that problem was he used to just be in like a tiny square arena. And then they just made the arena longer and put him at the back of it. But people still hunted him down constantly. Even I did that a lot. So they put him at the end of this area here. And I like having the area to go through, because it's another dungeon. And it at least kind of looks different from everything else. I just wish there was like maybe 5% fewer monsters in here. I think I am going to record Arcanum stuff. Even though nobody plays that game or cares about that game. And it gets 0 views. I would still probably record it because it's a fun game I really like. You know, the unstoppable affix in this game really is pointless on heroes when you get down to it. Because you can't stop heroes in ultimate anyways. Unless it does something else. But anyways, yeah, we may be seeing Arcanum as a recorded game. It's kind of a weird Sierra game from the 90s. It's also one of the few games, it's a lot like what old Fallout was. Like, there's even a dog meat character in the game who turns out to be the best melee fighter in the entire game. It's got a lot of depth to it. A lot of ways to build characters in it too. So my main advice for Blood Feast is don't stand in his blood tornadoes, and don't stand on the like spiky grate things, the traps. Yeah, he's actually a really scary he like lost some scariness. He was a really scary monster when he was first added to the game, because he would hit you really hard, and his blood tornado thing, like, it would just sap all of your health away. But now that it's easier to get resistances, especially later on in the game, like post 70, he's kind of lost a bit of his frighteningness. So this is pretty much rounding out the Pine Barrens area. You get pairs of quests until you get to Blood Feast. I'm just doing them all at once because it's a very quick, easy thing to do, and then you can just turn them all in all at once. So thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.